Hi, this is Bedrest Coach Darline Turner, owner and founder of Mamas on Bedrest and Beyond, and it is Video Wednesday. Welcome everyone and thank you for joining us. Today we are talking about the use of technology in improving birth outcomes. Now, this is one of those topics that when I saw it in one of my e-newsletters, I kind of went, really? This was a whole study. People paid like huge money. The Department of Health and Human Services used big money to do this project in Arkansas to see if the use of telemedicine could improve birth outcomes for very low birth weight infants. And while I totally agree with using, federal funds to test these different things, kind of the question was, really? You didn't kind of know that already? But be that as it may, I'm going to give you a little quick update and then I'm going to give you kind of my take on it. At the University of Arkansas as the primary center and then many satellite hospitals around Arkansas, they used telemedicine to improve birth outcomes. Well, what was going on, they have many hospitals in rural areas that are not designed to care for very low birth weight infants, very premature newborn infants, and they couldn't necessarily transport them to some of the larger hospitals. So the question became, is there a way for the larger, more, as we say, tertiary care centers, these heavy duty care centers, is there a way that we can get the knowledge from there to these smaller hospitals? And somebody said, oh, well, let's do telemedicine. And great idea. Totally cool. They outfitted these hospitals with cameras and kind of video equipment and I think some internet equipment. And so they are able to talk back and forth. So if, for example, in a very rural area of Arkansas, there is a very tiny baby born and they're concerned about how we're going to care for this baby, can't necessarily get it to Little Rock or the University of Arkansas where there are huge medical centers, the doctors in the smaller hospital use telemedicine to call the doctors at the larger hospitals and they talk back and forth. They can actually, hold the baby up on camera or bring the cameras lower into the NICU around the little baby so that the doctors can see and talk and discuss. And well, lo and behold, they institute this program, do it over 2 or 3 years. I think it was 2009 to 2011. I'd have to go back, but over a year and a half, 2 years, and found that birth rates of very low birth weight infants dropped from like about 13% to about 7%. That's a pretty huge drop. I mean, that's almost half, It was a really significant drop, and they're thinking, oh, well, this is really great. And those of us kind of common people are going, well, yeah, of course, because think about how our society has changed and morphed. When we used to have to send letters, you'd have to wait, Pony Express, not really that fast. Then there was, you could send a wire, kind of the little ticker tape thing, tick, 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 tick. And then we had telephones, and telephones radically changed how we've been able to communicate with people, not only in our immediate circle and our neighborhoods, but in our towns, in our states, and across the country, and now around the world. Well, then enter the internet. I mean, information is being spread around the world in a matter of seconds. I mean, when there is any sort of uprising or upheaval, if there is great news, birth of a prince in England, whatever, we can hear about it almost at the exact minute that it's happening. So it's interesting to me that with this technology that we're doing incredible things, that medicine's kind of getting to the point where they're going, oh, we could use that. I mean, it just makes me laugh. And I'm not trying to poke fun at medicine, but it makes me laugh because if we're using, telemedicine to fix cars, do music lessons, take online courses and certifications, of course it's going to work for medicine. But be that as it may, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services funded the University of Arkansas. They did this study, used 9 hospitals, talking back and forth, able to do ground rounds, medical students able to learn and everything else. Now everybody's like, hey, yay, it's a great thing. You and I are sitting here going, duh. But it's still a good thing because now, in medicine, everybody's kind of skeptical until we have what we call the evidence. It's evidence-based medicine. It must be proven. It must be shown and been able to be replicated. And now we have that. So we know, even though we knew this before, but now we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, you can use telemedicine, bringing in cameras, bringing in the internet, talking back and forth on the phone and on different wired devices to really help people. And it's an amazing thing. I mean, the technology that we can use now in medicine is just phenomenal. And as this study showed, as so many other studies have shown, we're able to do so much more for so many people where before they might have died, they might have been permanently maimed, just really not great outcomes. So what does this mean for mamas on bed rest? Well, the fact that you're sitting here listening to me babble is another example of telemedicine. Now, I'm not as high tech. I'm not as, I don't want to say I'm not as important because I don't think that's true. But, the topics I'm talking about are not as critical as a very low birth weight infant or, a severely ill infant in the NICU. But what I am doing here is the same exact thing. You're home, you're on bed rest, possibly bored, you think, and you're like, well, I'm uncomfortable, or, I wonder about XYZ. What I try to do is provide you varying ways to get information. On our website, you can listen to some of our podcasts. And yes, we are coming back to those. I just have to figure out how to do them on this happy little Mac. We have the blog, which comes out 3 times a week. And then we have these video blogs because sometimes, you're not feeling great. You don't really want to have to read. Some women are on medication while they're on bed rest, and it's just not comfortable. So you can sit here and you can listen to me babble. You can close your eyes. You can relax. And here you go. But telemedicine and technology in medicine, it's just like everything else. It is the wave of the future. I had a physical last week, and I got an email today, and I logged into the secure portal, and I got the results of my physical. Boom, there we go. It used to be you had to wait weeks, and the nurses were trying to call you, and if you weren't home, they didn't want to leave messages, and you can't really send it over email because emails aren't secure. But it was great. I got a little email from them saying your results are ready. I had already set up a little account in their portal, logged in, boom, there were my medical results. And this is how things are going to go. This is how a lot of doctors' offices function. This is how my good friend and mentor, Jenny Joseph, keeps up with a lot of her patients. They're texting her. They text her nursing staff with questions. It's amazing the amount of work and amount of support and amount of information that can come back and forth from a simple text. And patients she's finding are far more compliant. They're doing what they need to do. They understand if it's a really quick question, they can get it answered. So they're saving. They don't have to come in for another visit. I mean, it's really, technology is amazing. It's wonderful. And yes, we need to be using it more in medicine. I'm poking fun at this study a little bit just because I'm thinking, you guys didn't know this. But I also understand they had to be sure. They weren't sure if it could be used in a NICU setting. They weren't sure if they would get good resolution to be able to really look at these babies. Now they know they can, and now these neonatologists can be hundreds of miles away, but be treating this very tiny baby. And it's the same all over. It can be a pregnant mom in one of these rural areas, and the maternal fetal medicine specialist hundreds of miles away giving information to that obstetrician on what he needs to do for that mama. Later on it could be treating an elderly person, and a gerontologist far away can be treating this elderly person in this rural area. But whatever the case, we now know they have the definitive evidence what we all kind of knew intuitively is, yes, send a text, send an email, shoot a video, send it over, let somebody look at it. They can respond, and so much can take place and be life-saving. Whereas before we were kind of tied. This person in the rural area, it was just kind of too bad. We can't help you. We can't get you there 500 miles quickly enough. Even with life flights and the different helicopters, sometimes that still wasn't enough. Now it's not an issue. They can say to the hospital, you just need to have this equipment, and if they can get it and have it quickly on hand, they can treat the patient for whatever. It's really, really wonderful. And yes, I'm being a little bit glib, but I just want to underscore the fact this is stuff we all kind of intuitively knew. Think about moms who have to leave their children at home, telling the child, come home after school, I'm going to text you, you better be there. We've been doing this. This has been existing for a while now. And now medicine's coming up. So I'm going to cut them a little slack. They're a little late to the party, but it's okay. It's a good thing. And now that they're here, we're all going to party together and just do the best we can for mamas, babies, and quite frankly, everybody in the general population. Technology works, people. It's great. It's wonderful. And we are very lucky to live in this time to be able to utilize it. So, okay, that was a little glib, but that's it for today. I'm Darline Turner, Bedrest Coach, owner and founder of Mamas on Bedrest and Beyond. And I want to put this plug in. If there is a topic that you're questioning, you're wondering about, something that's going on with you, and you're thinking, geez, can I don't know more. I don't know where to look. Shoot me an email, info@mamasonbedrest.com. I'll check it out, and your question could be our next Video Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining me, Darline Turner, Bedrest Coach, owner and founder of Mamas on Bedrest and Beyond. Thank you. Have a great day.